Well, that's a tough loss. Mike's team's on such a roll offensively these last couple of weeks. They're really tough to defend. And then Ryan had a sensational first half. And saying that, though, I thought it was one of the best offensive games we've played. We cared for the ball better, a lot better, and moved it. And then, in these losses, they're one or two possessions, and we haven't won those possessions. In the last couple minutes here, we got it to a 2-point deficit. We got the ball, and actually twice we had it where we had a run out, not a clean fast break, and we didn't get a shot. And to me, that's the experience factor, because they played hard on the defensive end, get a stop, and then just to have the poise to get that score. And we haven't been able to make those plays, and we've been in so many close games, and in two of them we did make those plays against BC and against Georgia Tech. And in the others, the other team made the play. Because it's a one or two possession game all the time. And we have to just keep working. Our kids came ready to play. They've been working. And these things, so this will pay off at some time if you stay with it. It did in 82 and 83. It did in 95, 96, and it did in 2006. There are times in our program where you learn to appreciate the winning that has come at such a high level and how tough losing is. And we as a program need to keep learning that and keep appreciating what it takes to win. And you don't do that by not working hard or trying to get better. And that's what we're going to do. So any questions that you all have?
Thanks, Coach. If you have a question, please use the hand raise feature and we'll get to you. And we will start with Brendan Marks. Brendan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Yeah, you mentioned that if you stick with this does eventually pay out. Just wondering for you personally, I know you had spoken yesterday on the coach's call too about trying to make sure that the development is there and that is the theme at this point. How do you sort of balance that going forward with guys like Henry and Mark, who have been improving and showing strong showings in their limited minutes of late?
Yeah, well, Mark keeps getting more minutes. Henry has done a good job. They put 4 guards out there. And but he'll get those guys. He'll keep playing. In saying that, we're not playing just to get experience. That's not what we're doing. You get experience by playing hard to win. And so even though we're not winning, I think the attempt and the preparation to win is there. Or else I would tell you, and youth has to be developed, and in our program, we're not accustomed to that. We're not accustomed to losing, but we are, and you have to lose and take responsibility and then build from it. And no excuses, and keep going forward.
Thank you.
Steve Wiseman, go ahead.
Yeah, defensively, Wendell even said, they got a lot of open shots tonight. Notre Dame did, and Ryan, especially in the first half, got a lot of shots. Almost every shot he won is what Wendell told us too. What are you stressing to the guys on defense about closing it out more? Covering the gaps a little more. What's the point there?
Well, there are a number of points. And sometimes you don't remember all of them or don't do all of them. So, but specifically in the first half, we overhelped. Part of their scheme is they have really good spacing. And so again, it done against like a regular offensive team, it's not that bad. But when they space with threes, they got 3 threes in a row with our overhelp and things like that. And then Ryan really went by us a couple times. Like we pressured him like he picked up his dribble, or instead of controlling the dribble. And again, they're playing hard, but you got to play that smarter. So again, Steve, you got to keep learning from this, and you aren't playing against really, we have a lot of good players in this league, and they're really, Mike's done a really good job with them, and they're building right now. They're a very good basketball team, and they've lost a couple. They lost one the last time they were in the triangle. They had the last shot, and and they've learned through their experience. And we have to do that and hopefully take it to an even higher level at some time. It's going to be, it seems difficult to see that happening immediately for us, but the immediacy of working hard, it will be there all the time, and you never know when it will come. And so that's why you have to keep preparing and keep working.
Aaron Beard, go ahead.
Hey, Mike, you just mentioned about coming up close, tight games. How do you think guys are confidence-wise when they're trying to learn through this and maybe coming up short in some of these close games?
Yeah, I really think the confidence level is good. Otherwise, we wouldn't be scoring in that like we are and competing. In losing close games, we have to be careful that they do not lose their confidence. And because, it's really disappointing for them. I mean, for me too, but obviously, but you want this to happen quicker for them than it's happening. And so I'm on their side forever, and we're going to keep going and keep pushing. And again, it'll one, that's what you should do. But two, it'll pay off at some time. It'll pay off at some time, and it's not paying off for wins right now.
Max Rigo, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. You mentioned Cormac Ryan a little earlier, just wanted to ask, what specific things was he able to do to really exploit your guys' defense, especially in that first half?
Well, I just mentioned to Steve's question, we overhelped. That was one thing. So he had open look, but he put the ball on the floor well, which he can do, but he usually is more of the shooter. But he got by us, and we didn't control him on the dribble. So and then we fouled him on a 3. So he also, when it's going for you, he hit the back flange on a 3-pointer and it fell in, and when that happens for a scorer, you get 3 free throws, you get a couple layups, you get a shot like that, and you're already playing well, then, the world is yours. I mean? So again, if I shot it and hit the flange, it would have hit like 30 feet above. He's got good touch. So when he does miss, it still has a chance. He's a really good player.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go to JB Ricks.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time. I noticed everything that you said here with the previous questions, and I'm curious to know how much is the inexperience of this team playing against you when you're trying to make these adjustments and trying to bounce back from these losses, and they're piling up the way that they are. How much is the youth of this team playing against the way you want to coach them through this adversity?
Well, a lot, because they're not only haven't done it individually, they haven't done it together. It's a new group, and there's not like the linchpin or the two guys, the veterans that might help in that regard. And so we're learning individually and collectively at the same time, and you're playing against good teams that have played, with one another. And, but we're close. We're close. And, so again, I feel bad for them, like, because there's not an app for experience, there's an app for a lot of things, but not that. And so sometimes the experience you get is a losing one, even though it was a hard fought one. And over the years in our program, when we have had that, you learn your lesson maybe better for the long run, but for the short run, it is really, it's tough. It's just tough. And I have to be their coach and help them in this at this time. And again, to keep pushing.
Last question will go to Alex Jackson.
Hey, Coach. Matt Hurt's been finding himself in foul trouble of recent, and he's so important to the team. I'm just wondering what you want to see from him going forward so he doesn't end up in this position more.
Well, he plays a lot of minutes, and sometimes he's playing against a real big guy, which puts him in more of a position to foul. And again, just to keep working on it. I don't have an exact answer for you except to keep working on it, and not copping out or anything. It's just that's the only answer, I think. You keep working and you show them, and then hopefully, we do a better job with that.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.